Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, and today I want to talk to you about first aid kits. But first I'm going to tell you a story. I have lately become one of the clumsiest gardeners ever known. If there's secateurs to use to prune something, I will cut my hand. If there's a knife being used to cut something, I will cut my hand. If there's something to be lifted, I'm likely to drop it down my legs. And this has become my story for the past couple of months. I get cuts, scrapes, bruises all over me. In fact, just today, I managed to, whilst pruning my potato plants, prune my hand. So, apart from the trail of dripping blood coming from my hands most of the time, there is also some knowledge coming, and that is what I am going to share with you today. Sorry for the graphic intro, but you can imagine it's something that is quite close to me at the moment. So, what are we talking about today? Well, we're going to talk about first aid kits. Now, I'm not talking Band-Aids and gauze and, all that kind of jazz. I'm talking what can you have close to hand that will help. Let's look at some plants first. So, with plants, I have many growing in my garden, of course, because that's how I usually hurt myself. But some of them can grow very easily in pots, wild, or as companion plants in your garden to other things. And some of those we're going to talk about now. So let's talk about the living part of your first aid kit. Now, these are plants that are easy to grow. They don't need a lot of water and they don't need a lot of attention. But what they do have is a powerhouse of help for you. And the first one is Calendula, also known as a wild marigold. Calendula helps clean wounds, heal wounds, and soothe skin irritations. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It's great for cuts, scrapes, rashes, and burns. It's quite cooling. You can make a hydrosol from calendula, so placing it in some purified water, letting it sit, and then straining it. And that is great for your skin on your face also. It reduces swelling and redness in irritated skin. It actually promotes healing in minor cuts and abrasions. And calendula, believe it or not, is a huge pollinator attractor. So a lot of the good bugs in your garden are going to love it. In fact, your chickens can eat it too. So I pick calendula flowers because once you've got calendula, you've got it forever. And I will give those flowers to my chooks. And what I actually do is I put them in their water. So just in the bottom of the water dishes, I will put calendula flowers. That will make a hydrosol for them, and they pick out the flowers and eat them as well. Another one is lavender, also known as nature's stitches. And lavender, apart from having a lot of functional medicine beneficial properties, can really help with burns, insect bites, stings. The oil in it can reduce stress and headaches. It helps you sleep. You can dry some lavender and put it under your pillow. But in our first aid kit, we can apply it topically to help reduce inflammation and promote wound healing. How do I know? Because I've been using it this past week. Yarrow is our next one. Now, I did mention quite graphically that I have been cutting my hands open with my secateurs. And so what I have been doing instantly when I've made the cut, I jump around and I swear a little, and then I go to my yarrow plant. And what I will do is I will pick off some leaves, put them in my mouth, chew them up, mix them with my saliva, and spit that poultice onto my cut. Yarrow is a styptic, so it stops bleeding. It's also known as soldier's wart because back in World War II, it was growing quite wild, and if they had injuries, they would put yarrow on it. So it stops the bleeding and promotes the healing, reduces inflammation, can shrink the tissue around the cut area, and that helps soothe the area. Now, another good living first aid plant is comfrey, also known as bone knit. It's actually essential for healing fractures, sprains, and muscle damage. Again, another one you can give to your chickens. They love comfrey leaves. And so my experience with comfrey was a few years ago now, when one of my sons was turning 21, I managed to kick something while I was cleaning the house 2 weeks before his birthday, where I wanted to wear some fantastic high heels, and I broke my toe. Now, what did I do? I made a poultice of comfrey. This time I didn't chew it up and spit it out. I put it in my mortar and pestle with some clean water, not tap water, and I made a little poultice out of it. I wrapped that poultice around my toe. I then wrapped that in paper towel and I put a plastic bag on it, and that's how I slept for 2 weeks, every single night. And after 2 weeks, my toe was better. That was after people telling me a broken toe takes 6 weeks usually. And believe it or not, I wore my high heels to my son's birthday. Not something I'd recommend after a broken toe, but still I could do it, and so I did. Now, comfrey helps reduce swelling. It does help support tissue repair, and it is great for sprains and strains, but fantastic for small broken bones. Now, don't get me wrong here. If you've got a broken leg and your bone's sticking out, comfrey's probably not going to be able to do a heck of a lot for you. You want to go to a doctor for that one. But if it's a broken toe or a broken finger or something like that, or a sprain or a strain, comfrey is your best friend. It has high allantoin, which is a composite in the comfrey that helps the healing. Now, another one is aloe vera. We've all heard it soothes burns, but it's also good for insect bites. It's good for abrasions and cuts, and it will actually help prevent scarring. It has immediate cooling relief, and aloe juice is also good if you have a very upset tummy. Another one here is plantain. Now, here in Australia, it's summer while I'm recording this, and everything's dry, and the little plantain flower heads have dried out, and they're sticking out above everything else because nothing else is tall and growing, but the plantain flower heads are. Now, plantain is very versatile. On the skin, it can treat bug bites, stings, skin irritation. It actually draws out toxins. It reduces swelling and speeds recovery. It's really good for skin concerns, and you can make plantain into a poultice to soothe rashes and insect stings. It's antibacterial, prevents infection, but it's also, and I love plantain for this, anti-parasitic. So I mentioned my chickens before. I will pull off plantain flower heads and buds and their leaves, and I will give that to my chooks because it's a natural dewormer for them. I actually give it to my cats as well, and they love it. Crushed up, of course. And our last for this section, living first aid plant, is chamomile. Now, chamomile, again, helps you rest and sleep. It helps ease digestive discomfort, soothes the skin and minor wounds from irritation. It's really gentle on kids, soothes colic and other minor ailments. It can reduce redness and irritation in inflamed skin conditions. Of course, chamomile tea is fantastic. When you pick the chamomile, if it's Roman chamomile, it smells like bubblegum. So it also makes you very happy. And chamomile, again, I do pick and make tea out of. I will also dot it around my house so that my indoor cats stay nice and calm. And it's another one that goes out to the chookies. Now, let's see what else we have. We've gone from the garden. We're going into the kitchen for your first aid kit. And of course, top of the kitchen list is honey. Antibacterial, antimicrobial, it's wound healing. You can use it on bee stings, believe it or not. And so you just apply a small amount of raw honey to the wound or the burn, and that will help with the problem. It's antibacterial, as I said, very powerful addition to your first aid kit. First thing you need to do if you get a head cold or a flu is have a spoonful of honey. It is also wonderful, I'm going to say wonderful, with teas. Now, honey, off the store shelf, probably not so great. You really want to be careful where you get your honey from. A lot of honey on the store shelf is fake. So you really want to know where that honey's coming from. Okay, what else do we have in the kitchen? We have ginger, which of course we know treats nausea and digestive issues. How do you use it? Chop a piece of fresh ginger, make a tea out of it. It will help you straight away. It's also great with headaches and tummy aches. And we also have garlic. Now, garlic is number 3 in the kitchen first aid kit. That helps with everything. Again, if you have chickens, you can give them garlic. Don't give it to cats and dogs, but you can give it to any bird. They will love it. Okay, what else do we need in our first aid kit? We need colloidal silver. So what do I do when I have a cut from my secateurs going through my finger, or cutting myself with a knife by accident, or whatever it is, dropping metal down my legs? Once I have used my Yarrow and it stopped bleeding, I clean it with colloidal silver spray. And I use this on my pets as well. So as soon as they have an irritation or an injury, get sprayed with colloidal silver. This helps clean the area. This is your disinfectant. Now, if you prefer to use a medicinal chemist bought disinfectant, have at it. Really go for it. But in my family, we use colloidal silver. And what we do with that is we also clean anything else that has come in contact with us during the injury. So yes, I use colloidal silver on my secateurs when they go through my finger. Why? Because I don't want whatever is in my blood now all over my secateurs, and then they're going to go yucky and rusty. So I will clean them with colloidal silver, give them a quick wipe off. Actually, I usually get the kids to do that because I'm dealing with my cut fingers, and really use colloidal silver for anything that needs a good clean. Now, we've talked about some of our first aid kit. Another part of it is essential oils. What can you have in your essential oil first aid kit? Well, I have lavender, of course, rosemary. Rosemary is brilliant again for headaches, feeling a bit brain foggy. It's really, really good. I have citronella oil. Now, why do I have it in my first aid kit? Well, I have a family member that's highly allergic to mosquito bites. And so the citronella oil reminds me in my first aid kit that before this family member needs the first aid kit, I am going to put drops of citronella oil around all the doorways. And I use it on paper towel in my chook area as well, and it just helps keep some of those mozzies and bugs away. Another one is lemongrass oil, and the reason I have that in my first aid kit is it's the first oil I diffuse in the home. Why? Because again, it keeps those nasty bugs away, the biting bugs. It also freshens the air. It makes you feel good. It's very uplifting. And the other essential oil I have in my first aid kit is lemon. And in fact, I have a bottle of lemon essential oil with me at all times, because if I'm out and about and I don't have my water and I have to drink tap water, I'm going to want a couple of drops of lemon oil in that. So the limone in that is very beneficial for all health, and it kind of neutralizes some of the nasties in the water. Now, traditional first aid kit must-haves. You must have some gloves. You must have steri strips. Why? Because that is going to hold your finger together when you put the secateurs through it. I can tell you that much. I will tell you, for every deep gash I've given my hands, I have never had stitches. Not once. Most people would have gone and gotten stitches. No, I use my Yarrow, then I use my colloidal silver, then I cut some steri strips and I hold it together in a cross pattern, and then I put a Band-Aid around that one. And then if I need to wet my hand or anything in the next 24 hours, I'm going to put a glove over that. So I'm not taking the bandage off. I'm allowing it all to heal, to seal up, and I'm going to protect it with a glove. So you need a thermometer, you need scissors, you need steri strips, you need gloves, and you need Band-Aids. What I don't have in there is I don't have aspirin or Panadol or Panadine or any of those. I don't have anti-nausea tablets. I also don't have eye drops. Why? Because those things can be very, very, very toxic. And so I just don't want those in my first aid kit. Now, other things for the first aid kit that are a must-have. We've got the plants, we've got the kitchen stuff, we've got the basics for a physical first aid kit, we've got some essential oils, and the other thing is you. Yes, you're part of your first aid kit, because what you do when something happens will actually affect how you heal. And so with this, I will say, as I said a little earlier, when I cut myself, I do jump up and down and scream and carry on, probably swear a little. And then I tell myself, that's okay. It was an accident. Get over it. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's happened. Move on. This is really important, because often when we injure ourselves, or when someone around us is injured, we look to place blame. And it could be placing it on yourself, be placing it on someone else. And guess what? That's just not helpful. It's not going to help you heal. In fact, it's going to prolong the injury. It's going to make you feel even worse, which is going to affect your gut. And it's going to affect how you move your bowels. And it's going to affect a lot of things. And it's going to cause a trauma, which you're going to remember next time you hurt yourself. And so then it's going to build on itself and it's going to get worse. So when things happen, you just need to let them go. Do what you need to. Scream, shout, punch something, not someone, something. Swear, jump up and down. Whatever it is that you need to do to get it out then and there, do that. And then it's done. I'm looking at my cut finger now as we speak. And it's not pretty. It's really not pretty. I can tell you that. I can see exactly where I cut it and how deep I cut it. But the fact is, that was this morning. And now I'm talking to you and I'm learning something and I'm teaching something from a moment that actually felt pretty horrible at the time. It doesn't mean that. Will I ever do it again? Quite possibly. To be honest, I just haven't been watching what I've been doing. But have I made this mean anything? Apart from really good fodder for talking to you today, no, it means nothing. It has no effect on me whatsoever. And this is where we need to get to when there's a trauma or an injury. We can't allow it to keep hurting us. And this is part of your first aid kit. You Your thoughts are powerful, so do that. Now, I did mention I don't like eye drops. The reason being, they can be quite toxic. What do I use instead? I will use salty water. I will use my colloidal silver spray, or I will just blink a lot, because the more you can wash whatever is in your eyes out really quickly, the better off you'll be. And I will tell you, often while I'm in the garden, I flick dirt into my eyes, and I know I need to wash that out really, really quickly. So that is exactly what I do. I don't use eye drops for it. I will use water, I'll use colloidal silver, I'll use salt water, whatever I have at hand. And, this is really important that by all means, if you want to use stuff from the chemist, go and do that. But if you want to move to a more natural way of being, your first aid kit has to reflect that. Because guess what? This first aid kit is going to be something that you go to quite often. And so it really needs to reflect how you want to live. Now, something I didn't mention in my first aid kit, and that is a binder. I have 2 binders in my first aid kit. One is activated charcoal. I mix it with some water to form a paste. I apply it topically, or I will put it in some water and I will drink it. It will bind to any nasties. Certainly very good if you've got a bit of a tummy bug as well, or if you've ingested something you shouldn't have. And the other one I use is fulvic and humic minerals, and I use that in a liquid form. And so I make structured water every morning to start my day, and that just binds to some of the nasties that might be in my system and gets them out. Now, fulvic and humic minerals, if you don't have colloidal silver, you can use those on an injury. So there's just a few things in your first aid kit to make a more natural first aid kit. And just remember, you are a big part of this. When accidents happen, they are exactly that, accidents. Now, I'm going to leave you with that one today. I am going to encourage you to like this podcast, subscribe, share it, and leave a review. And jump onto our Facebook page at Magical Life Podcast. Let us know what you want to hear about. I'm telling you about my first aid kit today because I cut my finger, and I thought it was important to share that information. But we want to hear from you. Join the conversation, and for now, go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health, that's holistic with a W, or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more.